All right, it is Wednesday, October 14th. This is the No One's Listening show. I'm Rafa, your host, here with the panel of Key Biscayers to talk about Key Biscayne things. To my left is Griff.
Hello.
To his left is Manny.
Hello.
To his left is Pamela.
Hello.
To her left is Bobby.
Good day.
Now, put your mic up a little closer. A little bit more.
Alright, how's that?
There you go.
There you go,
You
all the way in
Your
there.
very soft voice.
Put the pressure on the new panel member right
Hey,
there,
that's
right
how
out
I
of the
roll,
gate.
man. We gotta do this right. Well, let's start with a little trivia. Real easy trivia, kind of easy. Not really that easy.
1984.
So I was like, wow, what can I do for trivia today? I didn't have any historical trivia. Then I thought nobody knows any of the historical trivia anyway, so I came up with this. At the Donut Gallery, how much does a TED special cost today?
$7.95.
I don't know. I don't know the answer. I don't
Early
think there is an
AM
answer.
or
it
mid-
really depends on.
Yeah, no.
Early AM or midday?
$7.95.
1 egg or 2 eggs?
Oh.
You got to clarify that.
Hey, I think 2 egg because that's
Yeah,
what
you gotta
everybody
go
gets,
2 egg.
right? Does anybody get 1 egg?
Who goes with 1 egg?
Exactly. You're
gotta
already
go
going
2.
with this bomb of a thing.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
the heart
okay,
stopper.
If you're
2
howdy,
eggs.
you get it with a donut and some corned beef hash on the side.
Ooh.
It's so rough.
Maybe a
There's
maybe
a
full-
shout out. There's a shout out for Howdy right
full
there.
plate of French fries too.
So if you know the answer to that, how much a TED special costs today at the Donut Gallery? Call 361-8557. Hell, you can even text it if you want. And you will win a cruise for 2 on the something.
Hawks Cay Resort?
the Gypsy.
A weekend at Hawks Cay Resort.
You'll win a cruise. You'll win some beer and maybe a chance to be on the show. That's
Most
how
likely
Pamela
beer.
got here
You're not
today.
going to buy them a TED special if they guess the price?
No,
Have
That's a
breakfast?
great idea. I
Depends
think.
what
Manny,
day.
you're
You know
on
what?
it.
I'm on it, bro.
I think you
got
should
you
choose
for
them for breakfast if they guess
It
theirs.
depends what day it is, though. You know, you gotta be on the low day.
Well, Manny's buying.
2 eggs.
If you know that answer, 361-8557.
And it
Give us a
can't
call.
be Nelson.
It can be Nelson. If he's listening, I'll take it.
He's not listening.
And he'll give us a fake price anyway. It's always a different price at that place. Moving on.
For you, there's going to be now.
Weekend talk. What'd you do this weekend, Griff?
I went to a wedding on Friday. Interesting wedding. First time at this venue. Miami Sea Aquarium was on the side where the grass is. Large tent with fireworks, full band, great wedding. I think it went till 5 in the morning. It was about 400 people.
God,
So it was a large wedding. Overall, pretty good. Sunday night, I ended up going to 3 Points,
Yeah,
which is a
went to-
festival in Wynwood with Rafa. It was good. It was good. A little pricey. To go in was about $75. And then every drink was, a beer was $8. Single liquor drinks were $11. And then if you want a double, it's $18. So it was a little pricey.
It was rough on that.
No key rats at that. No rat radio
No
guys on that
way.
one, huh?
I mean, I was there.
Oh, yeah?
There was a few
yeah.
key rats there, actually.
Yeah.
Klein.
Oh yeah, that too. Battle was playing with his band Psychic Mirrors.
Santiago Caballero.
Santiago Caballero.
Spinning?
Spinning.
Yeah, spinning.
That's a lot of money though.
Um,
$70. That's more than
Yeah,
if you know,
hanging
like
out.
going to like a Dave Matthews concert at the Mars Amphitheater.
I know, but it was like a lot of bands, I guess.
This was an urban festival. You know, you're not
I
sitting on the
think
grass.
Battle of the Bands is cheaper than that.
But it was like a lot longer, I guess. It's like all day.
A great venue, by the way.
Yeah, the venue's great.
What is it called?
What was the
Mana
Production.
something.
It was great.
It was a big warehouse area.
That's that big warehouse where they have the trucks when they do our Basel. They're right off of like 23rd, 24th.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah,
Where they do the food trucks as well.
right.
And it's. I just read today that they're going to turn it into, or they want to turn it into buildings, 24 stories. They don't have permission. But,
What?
Yeah, they don't have permission to do 24. But anyway,
That was my weekend talk.
Yeah, what did you do, Manny?
We did a paddle on Saturday, Chico's Paddle Club. We went out, we had a good one. We went down to the to our spot there at the end of Oceana. There's a nice, the nice beach path there. Have you been
Love
to that path?
Yes, I love that area.
Lovely
It's great.
path.
The
yeah.
paths are great.
And well, it's funny because we were there at the path and having our little soiree, post paddle soiree, and the Key Biscayne police showed up.
Again.
No, this was the first time that that they ever showed up there at the path, and we have our golf carts there at the end, and it's a
Bloody
nice little
Marys.
setup. And so I saw them coming down the path, and I went out there and cut them off a little bit and talked to them, and they're like, yeah, no problem. I mean, it turns out the folks from Oceana and the building called and complained, called their security, and they said, there's people on our property.
Oh, but it's not their property.
On their property. and
Is
it's
it
the
their
path.
property?
It's not their property.
It's
No,
the
okay.
path,
like,
but they think it's their...
Yeah.
But they were cool with you guys. I mean, the cops were cool with you guys going out there.
The cops were so supportive. They were great. They said, well, actually, this is not your property, and this is a public property, and these people can be here. So that was nice.
Was the mayor there?
Maybe.
Oh, you can't see. No,
She's a member of the paddle club for sure. There was that,
Did she pull?
but she never stepped in front or anything.
Okay.
I spoke to them, and it was the police officer was really cool.
I'm just wondering. Like, I think it'd be funny that the cops show up and then it's like, oh, who's doing this? Oh, it's the mayor.
Oh, you mean the mayor? I thought you meant Chico.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, they were both there. So, how about you, Pamela?
Oh, my weekend was so fabulous because I got sick on Thursday with a flu, and it was so sad because I was supposed to go to D.C. to visit my family. I haven't seen them in like 3 years.
Oh,
we had this
wow.
trip planned for like months, and then the timing was just, but it happens. I haven't been sick in ages, and then the one time when you need to be healthy,
That flu just came through the
that-
key.
it just came, yep. But now,
wow. And so what? It was just Deputy Dog taking care of you all
Deputy,
weekend?
yep, he took good care of me, yep. He did
Soup from the Oasis.
a little soup, some Deputy Dog cuddles, and I'm all better now.
Sorry, who's Deputy Dog?
What?
Who's Deputy Dog?
Deputy's my dog.
Oh,
And I have a cat, Simon. He's awesome, too. So,
okay.
yeah.
Cool. Well, you look a lot better.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, how could you look bad in the first place? But that was you don't look like you're sick at all.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you're not sick. You don't.
I'm not sick anymore. I'm past through it, yes.
All right. Well, yeah, I went to Alabama Jacks by boat, and we passed through the regatta, which looked very pathetic. Very, very pathetic. Not
Pathetic, like light, thin, nobody there.
super thin, nobody there, like really bad. And this was probably at 12 when we passed by initially. Like, oh, well, it's still a little early.
This is to explain the Columbus Day Regatta.
Yeah, Columbus Day Regatta.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Where all the way down Elliott Key?
All by Elliott Key. So Alabama Jacks, we ran all the way towards like Carsound Bridge, and
On the
by
inside?
boat, yeah, you got to come in through the canal. You're able to dock up and eat. Food was awesome. They had a live band going with some old lady that looked like Beverly Hillbillies lady, trying to get everyone dancing. And she's like the entertainment type of thing where it gets people dancing and just pulls people out of the tables. But whatever. So we left too, and we went through the regatta again. This is like later, maybe 4 o'clock. There's nobody. There was basically nobody there. You could see right through the thing. There was not more than 5 boats tied together. I mean, it looked really bad. There was basically more cops out there than the party goers.
So it's working.
So, yeah, no, it's working.
They were all up on Master Flag.
They had a
Everybody was
barge,
there.
Coast Guard barge out there, ready to BUI everybody, and I don't know, they probably didn't have a lot of activity at all.
BUI? BUI?
What's a BUI?
BUI, is that what you said?
Yeah. A BUI.
Well, times are changing.
Yeah, that's all I did.
And me, I fell asleep on Friday, so I was really tired from Thursday. And Saturday, I hung out at my house and talked about going to 3 Points with my buddy Grant. But then we just hung out, and a couple of us had more drinks, and that went until like 2 in the morning. And Sunday, I made it to 3 Points, and I had a great time at 3 Points. I saw Psychic Mirrors, who got booted early by the promoters, and then on the last song, which they only played like 5, the guy starts yelling, "Screw this guy, screw that guy." My God, that's a little top heavy.
Do we know why they
Drop
got?
the mic here.
Do we know why they got?
Yes, because one of the other bands went too long.
Because they were very upset.
Yeah, they were very upset. They were cursing at the promoters.
Kinda
and all
killed
that
it at
stuff
the end,
during
do you think?
during the song. Alex threw a water bottle into the crowd, and he didn't like beam it, but he kind of like lobbed it. And,
Alex?
Because he was mad they were cutting him off, or because
Yeah, they were all just super frustrated, and then they whatever. So, but anyway, and I saw this other band, Unknown Mortal Orchestra, which I had just found their album like 2 months ago, and I loved it. And then suddenly they were at this thing, so it was awesome to hear them live. So that was my weekend. It was pretty good. Oh man,
Actually, Anna's not here tonight, but she just sent a message in. So should we listen to it? See what she did for the weekend? I have no idea what this is. We haven't screened it yet. So, Anna, what'd you do for the weekend?
Guys, I don't know if I'm going to make it because you already started, but this weekend we did go to a wedding on the Key pretty much because it was next to Seaquarium, and that's an awesome location for a wedding. We had a great time. Awesome location. And good to know, too.
Good to know in case you get married?
And that picture is because my dad turned 60, and we have a group of 12 here in Disney.
All right, Anna. Well, thank you very much for chiming in. We appreciate that. Thank you.
So now we could either do, I guess we could do the music thing. So a new segment we like to call, What Are You Listening To? Figure we're a radio station, might as well talk a little music, right?
Is there music on this station?
There is music sometimes, yeah. And so I want to go around and see, just briefly, tell us what you're listening to. I'll later post it in the comments on the show notes.
So I'm listening to a little bit of Dr. John, and I found some funk from New Jersey from the 70s. Just a lot of funky music lately, and also local music like Psychic Mirrors and another guy named Mickey DeGrand. So that's what I'm listening to nowadays. What about you, Manny?
Well, I tee up the Spotify. I got the Spotify Premium. It's worth it. You get everything on demand. You can save the stuff right to your phone. And let's see. I'm listening to this guy, Slim Harpo. Have you heard of Slim Harpo?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Heard of that? Slim Harpo is an old blues guy who was a huge influence on the Stones, actually. And you listen to it and you hear the Stones. It's incredible. So listening to that, and also always listen to the Dead.
Any song in particular?
Well, I'm a king bee. I'm buzzing around your hive.
Okay.
Oh, you mean a song or just sing a song? That's the only one I know.
Okay.
I think
that's the one I'll link to later.
The name's probably in there.
On the show notes. You, Pamela, you listen to anything lately?
Well, I listen to a lot of variety of music, but there was one song that I like. Don't laugh because it's kind of funny, but the cheerleader song, OMI. But what I like about the song isn't the lyrics, because they're crazy. But if you listen to the trumpet guy in the background, he really plays a great trumpet. And I would love to just take out the lyrics and listen to this guy play, because it's really...
What do you mean cheerleader?
There's a song on the radio, it's called Cheerleader, and it's like a bouncy song, and the guy's singing about how this lady supports him and he loves her, and I don't know, just she's my cheerleader and she'll do anything for me. You haven't heard that on the radio?
They play it like nonstop.
They play it all the time.
104.3.
Yeah.
I'm going to listen to it and call it up on Spotify.
Yeah, but the trumpet guy in the background is awesome. He really rocks. So.
Love trumpets.
Bobby?
I haven't been listening to anything new, which is kind of why I canceled my Spotify Premium, because I was listening to the same song over and over and over again.
Like what?
I couldn't justify the $10 a month for listening to the same song. I don't know, nothing really. I still listen to the Sublime and the old early '90s rock.
A little Everclear?
Bob Marley as always, and that's about it. Nothing new.
And you, Gannon, you have any radio picks? Or?
No, honestly, if I did, they'd probably be on the radio by now. But I haven't really delved into too much new stuff lately, fortunately.
Cool. I've been listening to that 10,000 Maniacs album from like 1992 that was really popular. And I just got into it. And I wouldn't put it on the radio because it's like 101.5 Light FM type rock. But I've been jamming to it. This one song called Grace. I don't know. I'll link it in the show notes. Good stuff, though. All right, moving on. We should get a phone call in about a minute.
That's the cheerleader song.
Oh, I've definitely heard that.
But listen to the trumpet guy.
All right. We have to save this one in the playlist.
For is a little... can you turn that down? Please.
So that's a cheerleader song. Now I
Praising
got it.
that, man.
Now I should get a call right now from a longtime fan of the show, and I want to get him on the show especially because Pamela's here and she can talk to us about the same thing, which is how they found the show and how they found everything. I don't even know this guy, but he follows the show. So hopefully he calls in the next minute or so because that's where I had him slotted in to call. His name's Agus, and he's been listening since we went off the air 3 years ago or 4 years ago. And when we came back, he was ecstatic that we were coming back. And so I'm pretty pumped that he's about to call. Come on, call. And if he doesn't call...
How do you know he's going to call? He told you?
I told him to call.
Oh, you asked him to call.
He said, yeah, no problem.
Cool.
But I hope he's not on...
Where is he?
He's in Argentina right now.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he travels a lot, but he lives on the Key. If not, we're going to have a bit of dead air. I guess we could move on until he does call.
Are we not calling the callers these days?
Well, since he lives out there, I figured I wasn't going to call him. I don't know. Maybe I should have set that up.
WhatsApp?
Yeah, I should have WhatsApped it. It would have been better.
Oh, we could have what Griff wanted to talk about last week.
Actually, yeah. Actually, there is something happening on the 18th. Coconut Grove is having their seafood festival. It's going to be at Peacock Park. A lot of local restaurants.
Let me stop you there for a second about it, because I talked to Jess about it because I kind of wanted to do it this year, and I mentioned it to him. And he went last year, and it costs $25 to get in per person, and it includes absolutely nothing at all.
I've never been. I just, heard about it. I actually got some tickets for free, but just wanted to share the knowledge.
How'd you get tickets for free?
It's Miami. You know somebody.
Is this Sunday?
It is Sunday. It's only Sunday.
Okay, but it's this coming Sunday, the 18th,
On the 18th,
you said?
correct.
Okay, cool.
So it should be fun.
And the Taste of Paradise thing is still happening on the Key that we talked about.
Does that include all the restaurants?
Not all of them, but almost all of them. I mean, everyone you can think of.
Except for Nelson.
Yeah, well, you can get out of there for $10 anyway. If you get a piece of toast. Okay, well, this guy hasn't...
Wait, but back to restaurants. Has anybody been to Lisboa?
No, I haven't.
No.
Is that on the Key?
Yeah.
It's Portuguese.
Where the Tango Grill was.
Yeah, I actually went. It's
And-
pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's the fare?
It's
Seafood?
Portuguese. Yeah, they have a lot of seafood.
Did you try the bacalhau?
Yes, the bacalhau fritters. I like them. Yeah.
Fritters. All right.
Actually, Laura has been going to a place in the Grove I haven't been yet. It's Spanish, La Gamba,
I've heard
and
of
she
that.
said it's really good. Yeah, her
Yeah.
favorite place to go. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's right over with the girls and loves it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right across where Old Joffrey's was, which is now H&H Jewelry, across the street.
Hey, here we are. Okay, so long time fan on the air. Agus! Oh, hold on, let me put you on speaker. All right, you're on the air on Rat Radio, man. How's it going?
Hi, the guy.
So what's up? I was going to ask you, I just want to talk to you, I guess, to tell us about how you heard about the radio, how you found out. I mean, I don't even know who you are. I mean, I know you on Facebook, I guess. But how did you even hear about the radio?
I think this might be inaccurate, but I think there's a guy, Howdy, maybe.
Howdy?
Yeah, I think her mother is Ana Maria.
Yeah.
Well, her mother sold us our apartment in the tower.
Oh.
And my mom, once talking with her, she told her about her son making a radio show about Key Biscayne and everything, and told me about it. And I couldn't believe it, because I always been looking for a radio show about Key Biscayne and everything. I always heard the radio that the web of Key Biscayne plays.
The AM station.
Well, I looked for it, and I think I began hearing you guys when you've been already out of the air, like 2012. and I started hearing the old podcast. Well, when I found out that you were back on the air, I couldn't believe it.
That's great, man. One day we're gonna have you on the show. So.
It's on the show right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, like at the show,
At the studio.
In the studio.
Well, yeah.
But we're gonna have to blindfold and gag you to bring you out here. So
it's a secret spot.
Gagging seems unnecessary.
So
did I say gagging? I'm sorry.
Let me ask
blindfold.
you, when did you move to the Key then?
So I live in Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Uh-huh.
But I've been to the Key for the first time like in 1990 maybe, and I went. My parents and me and my brother, we instantly fell in love with the Key and everything.
Uh-huh.
And then we went back after Hurricane Andrew, and we roofed it, and in 1999 we bought the apartment, and since that moment every of our holidays we went to the Key. First to the I can't remember right. It was the Hilton or the Sheraton.
The Sheraton.
I think it was pink or something like that.
Yeah, it was pink.
Yeah, well, we went to the ruins after Hurricane Andrew, and then we stayed some summers at the Soneta.
Uh-huh.
But then, the Key means a lot to myself and for my family. It was I made my bachelor trip with my brother before getting married. I went for my honeymoon to the Key. Now I'm waiting to go back with my daughter.
Very nice.
It's really crazy being talking to you.
You'll hear yourself tomorrow.
I've been hearing you for so many years after you went off the air, and it's crazy.
That's cool, man. And let me ask you, do you agree with what we say, or are you just happy to hear people talk about the Key, or what?
No, I mean I always been looking for a radio exclusively about the Key. I don't mind much what goes on from Rickenbacker to the other side. I love to hear I don't know, there's a cat on a tree in a street in Key Biscayne or whatever.
That's perfect then, right? This is a perfect show for you.
Yeah. I remember all the shows.
Oh, man.
And in 2011 was the last time I went to the Key, and I got a tattoo on my shoulder and my arm. It's the Key with a compass and everything.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So you're a true believer. Awesome, just like us.
I guess, Rafa, some years ago I sent you a couple of mails making you a lot of questions.
Uh-huh.
And then I asked you where you work, where you lived, and everything. And then I started thinking, wow, this guy, maybe I creeped him out.
It was, man, I don't remember exactly, but yeah, you probably did creep me out. Because, since this is all, since this is also, hidden, we get, whenever anything like that happens, we're all oh my God, who knows, who doesn't know,
Yeah, sorry, man, about that.
No worries. Well, thanks so much for the call. Next time you're on the Key, just let us know, man. We'll get you on the show. We can meet you at least,
Sure. No, it's a great show, and it's a pleasure to hear you every week.
Thanks, man. Well, have a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. You too. Greetings for everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you very much,
Great,
Agus.
man. Super fan.
Someone's listening.
Someone's listening.
Someone is listening.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to change the name of the show.
And the person's listening.
You know what? You
show.
should call it "Someone's Listening."
Agus is listening.
You should call it,
Someone's listening later.
How did you come up with a name?
Huh?
Is he listening?
No, he can't be.
Oh, he's in Argentina, or?
Yeah, he's in Argentina right now.
Okay.
So wait, before we get into that, Pamela, why don't you tell us how you found the radio? Because you are just like him. He found the radio somehow. Well, he just explained through a friend of a friend or whatever.
Oh yeah. Well, before I lived here, I lived in New York City for many years, and I used to come to the Key every year, a few times a year to visit. So, and I love the Key, but so I was looking at the website, the old Key Biscayne website that had, I don't know who, I think
Eddie DeGiro.
yes, he made that website, and they had the old Key Rat chat on it. And so I was scrolling through, and I guess there was a link or a mention about your radio show, so I clicked on it and started listening from New York. Yeah, so way back when.
That's
and
great.
then and you had, I guess you had your website, because I looked at pictures. I even commented on some of them.
Yeah, and I was always like, who could this be?
Who's
Probably
this
some-
Pamela?
Yeah, I was like,
People-
Oh, you use your real name?
I
No,
use
this
my real
this is
name.
the funniest thing. I was like, probably some like fat old somebody in a dark corner. And she stops me on the street. I'm like, what? You? No. And I was like, okay, cool. This is
What'd she say when she stopped you?
She's like, are you the rat radio guy?
Oh
I was
my
like,
god.
Yeah.
The rat radio guy.
Yeah, I guess I
Yeah, and it
am.
was because I saw you with
Like,
your
who are you?
camera. Yeah.
Saw you on the camera. And then, so, yeah, that's cool though.
Yeah.
Make new friends through rat radio.
And now look at you now.
And here I am.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
years
That could be,
later.
that could be you out there. Listen.
Yeah. All right. Now we got that over with. We can get to the talk of the town.
Wait, was that the weekend segment or we're past the?
That was the weekend, and then the new segment, the music,
Oh, okay.
and then we got to the longtime listeners, and now we're at talk of the town.
This is my favorite part.
All right. What do we start with? We'll start with something that's boring. As you guys know, I'm the prez of the 4th of July parade. Everybody in this room knows. Maybe the listeners don't know. And
President?
yes, President
Is that your first year?
Generalissimo
First year?
is the title I like.
First year of president?
No, it's my third year. It's
You
gonna
know
be.
what's crazy? Is that he's not born in the U.S., but he's president. That shows you
How
the-
few people there are. to
he's
do
so
this.
motivated.
Nor is he a citizen of the United States.
But he's very motivated.
Hint.
And you are, but you're not doing
But he's
anything.
very
You're not
patriotic.
president of anything.
Very patriotic.
We love
Okay.
I
that.
don't even live on Key
That's
Biscayne.
awesome.
That's very awesome.
I love talking about
Okay,
4th of July
so
stuff
we're
right
having
now.
our first meeting sometime at the end of November. We could use all the volunteers we can get. If you think that you want to come out to some meetings and drink some beers and hang out and yell at people about what we should do on the 4th of July, get in touch at kv4.org. Send me an email through there.
Where are the meetings and how often are
At
they?
kv4.org. We have them at the rec center lately, and they are once a month.
And do you get one of those cool red shirts?
Yeah, you get a cool red shirt, and we're going to upgrade the shirts this year. So if you get in now,
I never
you're gonna
got a
get
shirt.
even cooler red shirt.
Bobby, are you
Going
still on the
next year.
committee?
No.
Is it so you're part of the committee right there? If you just say I want to be part of the committee, you're part of the committee.
No, I mean, you got to go to enough meetings for us to say you're real or you're fake.
Yeah, I'm one of the fake ones. 'Cause I went to 2 meetings. But just like in Rat Radio, I work behind the scenes.
Yeah, exactly.
Is Austin part of that?
Yeah.
He's
He's a treasurer.
Yeah, he's the treasurer. So that's coming up. So if you,
Whoa.
I'll announce this. a
Well,
bunch of
forget
times.
about the treasurer. The guy is the announcer of the parade.
Yeah.
Those are important roles.
He's the face of the parade.
Sim Sickney just retired, and now he's the full face.
Yeah.
Who's Stim Tickney?
I said Tim Stickney.
Okay, I got you.
All right.
Stick me.
So big thing I heard about this week was that the Key is going to really consider and really do like a pilot run, and it's going to be announced at a meeting soon. Hopefully they really approve it, but they're pretty keen on it. They have all the roadmap for 3 Key Biscayne golf cart trolleys. These are going to be like those free golf carts that you see on Miami Beach and in Brickell that are covered in advertising.
The 6-seat gems.
Yeah, those 6-seat gems. And they're going to have an app so that you can Uber it just like that. You see it on a map where it is and everything. Hold on. Let me explain. They're not going to actually do the advertising thing here on the Key, but they're going to, from what I understand, they're going to contract with those people, and they're just going to buy out what all the advertising would cost, and you get the driver and the insurance and all that stuff, and then it'll be tasteful, because they said they don't even want to resell the advertising because they want it to look nice. So it'll maybe have like bulletins about the Key on when you're inside of it, but it's going to be like nondescript on the outside.
And so did they hire a company that's going to have drivers?
It's from what I understood, it's the same company that runs them on the beach and in Brickell, except they don't see a market here on Key Biscayne, so we just have to pay the amount that they would make in advertising in Brickell or in Miami
Actually,
Beach.
I heard it was
They do
the boot
downtown,
guy.
too.
Yeah.
I heard it was the boot guy started a new company.
No, it's
not
the
him?
boot guy.
Okay.
So, how much do they pay in order I sign up? I'll drive.
They
drive around the key.
Well, but this is like with a third party. It's not that the key is going to hire the people. But
Bobby's
apparently it's going to cost about $5,000 a month per cart.
Wow.
But these guys will be on the street, and the plan is to like have them reduce drunk driving, so they'll be out more on the weekends.
You know they're going to
night.
be grabbing
And you'll be able to ping them through your phone, so you know where they are. You don't have to like guesstimate. Oh, is he going to come or is he not going to come? You know.
That's
So
great.
What time are they going to run till?
Well, on the weekends it would be, I think, till midnight. On the weekdays, I mean, they haven't gotten all the details down, but they're going to do a little pilot thing, see when people use it, and
Sounds exciting.
go from there. Would you guys use it? That's the
Absolutely.
No.
question. No? You always need your car, huh?
No, I mean, I have a bicycle, I have a motorcycle, I have a golf cart. I mean,
Do you ever use it?
why get stuck in a place depending on? I mean, I think it's a good thing for the key. I'm just,
What do you mean get stuck? You still call them back over.
theoretically, after midnight, they're not going to be there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, a bicycle works fine.
I guess.
Yeah.
So there's not going to be any route, like
There
specific
is.
route.
There's going to be one that goes like on a route, and then the other ones will kind of follow that route too, but they'll
But then they'll
shoot
just
off.
go get people as
Exactly.
In the end, you can walk anywhere you want to go, anyways.
Yeah, I suppose you could, but I've never seen either of you guys walking.
Oh, no, I don't walk, but I think anytime I might need it is when I've already taken a vehicle somewhere. You know, I don't see myself at my house with like 3 vehicles to choose from: bicycle, motorcycle, or car, and thinking like, oh, I should really take the public. You know, that's a nice thing, but I really doubt that that's going to be what I'm going to choose to wait for somebody to come pick me up. It's not like the traffic is that bad on a bicycle. You know.
Yeah, most people are pretty independent. They want to come and go when when on their time, not having. But it might be good for like people for their kids to take it to the community center and back, that kind of thing. Like,
Yeah, put your kid on.
They got maids for that.
No,
Just take the golf
I
cart,
don't.
mate.
yeah, that's
I don't.
true.
I actually, I love. That's what I was thinking. I think it's a great thing.
For kids, right?
Well, that's what's going to turn into. It's going to be. I mean, you see the kids are like 3, 4, 5 packs of kids walking around the key all the time. They go from Starbucks to CVS to the Rec, to the Ocean Club, whatever. They're always moving around. So I think it's a great way to do it.
Yeah.
Because the kids will tell you, pick me up or whatever.
Yeah.
They're complaining. I'm like, just walk, man, or skate.
Yeah, but instead of the
Now they'll
parents
take
having
the,
to go pick them up, yeah.
To this,
What are they going to call it?
no,
Is there a brand name?
No tentative name yet. No.
It should be.
What would you call it?
Well, if Bobby was going to drive, I'd call it Boober.
And call it
Call it
the
the
Ratmobile.
Rat race.
Rat race. That's a good one.
Well, today I went to go to 7-Eleven to pick up some cigarettes, then to drop off a UPS thing, and then just drop it, right?
You know who's going to use it?
Okay.
Rafa. I see
mean-
Rafa walking around all the
I
time.
use Lyft all the time to go to bars and stuff like that. I use all these things. I use the bus.
My kids take Uber in the key.
Oh yeah, I mean it's
Yeah.
only like $4.
And when I see Rafa walking around and I'm with somebody, I'm like, there goes the Rat Radio guy. Right there. That's the Rat Radio guy.
Actually, that's funny you say that because your son saw me at Winn-Dixie, and I kind of didn't recognize him for a second. I was like, who's yelling my name? And then I was with a friend, and it was like, who is that?
No
and
way.
Yeah, and it was like, oh crap, Matty, fuck. And I was like, I felt bad that I didn't recognize
Hopefully you didn't drop the F-bomb on my 11-year-old. No, so did
I
he
didn't recognize him
Did he
for a
say
second.
you're the Rat Radio guy?
Yeah, no, he said Rafa. I mean,
Oh, he knew he
yeah.
was Rafa, yeah.
Yeah, so I felt kind of bad. So tell him I know exactly who he is. But,
That's cool. And by the way, it's okay to drop the F-bomb. He's heard it before.
All right, so that's that for the gems. I guess you guys aren't very into it.
I think it's a nice service. I just don't see myself personally using it ever.
Yeah.
I mean, I could definitely see myself using it. You know, there's times where I've gone to the yacht club, leave my car there, and walk all the way to my parents' house, sleep over there. And if there's a guy driving around, why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Yacht club closes at 12 anyways.
Yep.
Well, we have the village is subsidizing drunken rides home.
That's good. I mean,
I guess.
As long as
it's
the
good
golf
because
cart guys
let's not
drinking.
pretend that everybody here.
What's their holding
Hey.
pattern going to be?
I'm not pointing any fingers, But let's not pretend that everybody here is leaving their car every time responsibly. So
Not guilty.
yeah, exactly. Not guilty.
Yeah.
Anyway,
by the way,
moving on.
Griff left that wedding. He already admitted at 3 a.m. So it was.
But he took a. Didn't he?
And actually, I got driven home.
And
by
you
my
got driven
wife.
home. Yeah. And left
She
her.
dropped me off. She continued partying.
What, she went back?
She went back.
Drop you off and went back?
Exactly.
Wow.
Nice.
It's called the circle of trust.
Yes.
We're all single, Griff. Except for Bobby. But he's kind of. Anyway.
What do you mean he's kind of? He's not kind of
He's
at
a
all.
lone wolf. But he'll
What?
go out by himself a lot.
Huh?
Anyway. I don't know. Just rambling here. Give me a break.
Next.
So, the Key Biscayne Fire Department hired a bunch of new people, but they didn't hire G-Man. And I've had this conversation before, but I love this conversation. I had it the other day with somebody else from the Key.
They don't hire
Should
locals.
the Key give preference to Key Biscayners?
Did you apply, G?
He did at some point.
Yeah, no, I've applied to the Key Biscayne Fire Department probably twice now, and I've been through the interview process twice. And a little background, probably most people don't really know how the fire department interviews go, but I sat for probably 15 of them by now. And basically, you show up in your nicest suit with your shirt all pressed, just like any interview, and you get in there, and then you're faced with usually anywhere from like 3 to 4 uniformed, anywhere from
A
chiefs,
panel.
lieutenants, captains. Usually they throw like a firefighter in there somewhere, just to like, I don't know, spice it up. And then also sometimes there's like an administration, like maybe human resources person there. And they ask you, it's not like a normal interview, they don't really ask you a whole lot like where you're coming from. It's all scenario-based questions. And they all sit there with a piece of paper and they mark the points you get. And basically I went through that, and you get a certain amount of points. I know Bob went through it one time. And they come up with a list, and they process you further, and then they hire.
So is there like a
hire
second and third or fourth interview like in most?
Yeah, I mean you advance to like a chief's interview.
Mhm.
At some point, that happens pretty much everywhere.
Have you gotten to those next levels or?
With the Key, I've moved on to like a physical ability test. Everybody does it differently. Sometimes they give you the physical ability test, which is like a firefighter aptitude test before the interview. The Key gives you the interview first, and then after that they put you through like a physical ability test where they time you running through a course. But whatever, the long and short is that you go through this thing, they mark you on points, you get ranked with everybody else, and then at that point, I mean, I guess maybe some places just hire based on how you scored on the thing, but obviously there's some discretion in who you choose, and things are taken into account. Some places officially take into account like resident status. I mean, a lot of fire departments do that. Like if you're a resident of the city of Miami, me and Bob are both applying there right now. They give you extra points for that. So it's not an uncommon thing. Other places just use their discretion, like, hey, this guy's from here and he knows the area. He knows the
I
community a little bit
I
better.
think that's a value add to have somebody from the community.
I wonder if they discriminate against having someone from the
Why would you wonder that?
Huh?
Why? I mean, why?
Because it's easier to fire people if
Are they firing
I think
people?
not-
Because I mean, look.
not fire, but it's easier to get the community against somebody and not have to deal with the politics of like people liking your underling. If
That's
you're not
fair. I
from
mean,
the
look at the
community.
Key Biscayers that are in the fire department.
There's only one.
Eric.
Ron Herbal.
Okay, the legacy guys, both of them.
Eric
Eric
Lang.
Lang.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I haven't hired anybody since then.
We have one more.
Oh yeah.
More. Well, he was an old key rap. Robert Morrison.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh okay.
And I mean, I guess it's a good amount of people for a small department.
Yeah.
But
I think they should have. I mean, look, you get a guy like both of these guys, both
Yeah.
fire departments,
For sure.
right? And neither of them have any like infractions or anything bad against them in any of their dealings with fire departments. Anything, nothing. And so, why wouldn't you hire, especially a guy who has his resident? I mean, Bobby now is living off the Key. He might move back.
One other
Crossing
thing
my
I'll-
fingers on that one, Bobby.
the other thing I'll add about fire departments is all the smaller departments, whether it be where I work or even where Bob works, the general movement is towards the larger fire departments. You know, like the Miami-Dades.
What does that mean?
You want to, I mean, the larger fire
People
departments.
as like a stepping stone.
Yeah, there's a lot of stepping stone. They have a pretty high turnover here. Maybe not as high as where I work.
Turnover.
But the turnover here is pretty high, especially for the younger guys who get hired.
What's the turnover going to be for a Key Biscayne resident? I mean, I would think.
I mean, somebody who's vested in the community, such as myself, you have a little bit more incentive to hang around because it's your community. And
why are you moving? Why are you stepping out? You're for pay.
There's more
pay.
more career opportunities in a bigger department. More. I mean, think about it. You work for a larger department. You can get on the helicopter, you get on the boat. You can do a hazmat team. You can do all these extra. You know, if you're really ambitious in your career, those are attractive options. You know,
right.
The pay. You're a little bit more stable. The union's a little bit stronger in the bigger departments. There's a lot of stuff that draws people away. But stuff that keeps people is like, you know, being attached to the community. I know where I've worked there for almost 2 years now. Like, I have a certain attachment to the place and the people I work with because the culture is good and I like it. But the career opportunities aren't really there. Mm-hmm. And it's the same with the Key. Like, I would love to work out in the Key. And I think it would be so cool to serve the place that I've lived for 30 years now. But there's still that issue of, you know, you're going to get that turnover because if the bigger department calls, you're going to have to make a decision. And everybody who's worked out here has probably had to make that decision. And the younger guys, I'm sure they have pretty high turnover. The guys that mentioned in the paper, I talked to one of the guys named Rumbaugh. I talked to him about it. And he's super psyched to be working on the Key. But,
How old is he?
He's our age. He's like 28, 29.
For the most part, it seems like the Key has hired a lot of former firefighters that retired already. And I don't know if they do this strategically or not. I'm completely throwing out the guessing game over here. They really don't have to pay these guys. They're not going to work 20 years, you know. They're not going to work to another full retirement. You know, they're going to work maybe 10 years, 15 years, and then they hire, you know, some young guns while they can. It's like a young man can't have a, you know, a 50-year-old guy, you know, as a firefighter in a truck for too long. So I don't know how their hiring process goes at all, but I mean, I only applied one time, and I didn't apply again. And
I think small departments like the Key face challenges with turnover, and you have to look at an employee with their retainability. How many years
that should be
for the investment you put in.
I think going back to the interview process, that should be part of the due diligence in the interview.
Like
what are you thinking about for your career? You can get a real read on a guy to say, you know, I'm a community guy. I know I may not make it on the helicopter, on the boat, or whatever, but I want to be in my community, you know. And so you say that kind of thing, and there should be, there should be some.
Back to when I introduced this whole topic is there's not really a forum in the initial interview for that kind of talk. You know, it's basically the litigation infested society we live in. Everything is very cut and dry, very points based, so that no bias can be, you know, accused in the aftermath of all this.
It's also a good opportunity to say it, you know, to just step up and step out, take control of the interview.
It's hard. You can't. It's a very structured thing, and whatever gets submitted to the next level is just a piece of paper with scores on it. Yeah, I mean, word gets out and other things happen, but it's a very structured process, and there's a reason for that. Anyways, I think that was a good conversation.
Should be extra points for living on a Key.
I agree.
In my opinion, yeah.
I would prefer a person that lives here on the Key, you know.
But that also brings, you know, some things to think about, too, because when you're from the Key, you know most of the people out here. And a lot of these people you may be running calls on are people that you know.
Ron Herbal, hero. Ron Herbal's in his house, hanging out or driving by somewhere. Hears some screaming going on. Ends up, you know, running to where the screaming's happening. It's not even on duty, I think. Some kid has his head stuck in a boat, sliding glass door of a boat. Remember that?
No,
Matt Sullivan's
I never
kid.
knew that.
Yeah,
Matt
Sullivan's son, great kid, miracle kid. They were going on the boat on an Intrepid and Little Cuddy Cabin, and they had a sliding glass door to the inside, and he got his head stuck in there, and it was like a vice getting pressed, and they start screaming. Ron Herbal shows up, comes and saves the day, brings the kid.
Thanks. If I could just add one last thing to this, a lot of the fire departments around the country are volunteer, and the fire department of old, everybody who worked in the fire department lived in that community, and so they cared about the community. And it just came naturally to be a part of it. Now when you join a fire department, you're basically going to a community that you know nothing about, and they have to bring you up to speed and then you have to actively try to get out there in the community to participate and be a part of it, just like the firefighters do out here.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you have to go out because it's breast cancer. You have to go out because it's 4th of July, and they put them out there on duty, and you can tell, like,
they don't.
I mean, I think those guys are really great guys, and they picked the same career I did, so I have a lot of respect for them, but I mean, they're not a part of this community at all.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned it because I mean, I'm good friends with Eric, and I'm going to bring it up.
I do the same thing where I work. I'm not a part of that community at all, but I'm a hired community participant. I cook hot dogs and stuff like that at community events. You know,
They need a directive from the council, basically.
Hire local.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not too many
Locals are gonna
options,
dry
and
up.
then they also have. I mean, I think Ron Herbal was a volunteer for years for Key Biscayne. Before Key Biscayne had a fire department, he was a volunteer for years. And I think I don't know if Eric was. I think he was as well. I'm not completely sure now, but he came on like right when the department got started. And then I think they got Robert Morrison. I think, I don't know, late '90s or something, maybe early 2000s. And then I don't know how many other Key Biscayne applicants there's actually been. So.
Speaking of the fire department,
Moving on.
what do you got on the police blotter?
That's what we're going to. Police reports used to be a hot topic on this show. The Islander doesn't run the police reports as much anymore.
Why is that?
I don't know. This is the most fun part of the Islander.
I know I used to always go to that section, and then now they hardly ever do it.
I think there's a lot less crime, and people just don't realize it. But let's go. Let's talk about some of these police reports. Okay, Labor Day. Here on the flats, of course. 24-year-old flees the police on a jet ski with a sticker on it that has Calvin doing the bird. You know that sticker?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the cops see him speeding in a manatee zone. They kind of flag him. He speeds off. He gets all the way to the Venetian Causeway. Okay? They're trailing him. They send a chopper to find him. Okay? When they finally catch up with him, they have to physically take the kill switch little cable off of him because he wants to leave anyway. They find out he had been cited earlier in the day for speeding in another zone that he shouldn't have been speeding in. Okay? And then, his last words, if it wasn't for the helicopter, you never would have caught me.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Jet ski's going 70 miles an hour.
He was a little rebellious, though, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
It was taunting.
I'm surprised they even had the chopper ready to go to chase the jet ski.
Apparently it was already in there.
Yeah, but think about how much money that cost just to get that guy.
Yeah.
No, they already assumed most of the cost.
What-
Probably now.
One guy in
The
Miami,
helicopter's probably already flying around.
one guy in Miami got killed and got away while they were chasing a jet ski.
I just don't know about the line about having to physically restrain him from the throttle, because that doesn't really check out. Because if somebody's in charge of the throttle and
Yeah,
full speed, what are they?
they're not
doing
stopped
a Bruce
there.
Willis?
Yeah, that didn't
right
make
next
sense to
him?
me
The
either.
guy obviously stopped for them to be able to talk to them.
He got real close so you could blow him a kiss.
He whipped out his nightstick, was like, whoosh,
So
fucking.
I would take the wording of that.
They didn't need an Emerson Fittipaldi there. Remember Emerson that year? Emerson saw somebody stealing his jet ski.
What?
Remember that?
No.
Yeah, about 10 years ago or so. Emerson Fittipaldi's at his house on Pines Canal. Somebody's outside stealing his jet ski, clanking. Breaking with the lock breakers. Take off on his jet skis. He sees it from his house. Runs downstairs, jumps in his Zodiac, and chases him down. Then the helicopter came in, and the other boat came in, and Emerson stayed with them, and they busted the guy.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
You don't remember that?
Okay, but
You guys were in
look,
second grade.
Here's what happens when you don't have a chopper.
College,
On
man.
Sunday, September 13th, there was a bunch of, it's a Sunday night at 11 o'clock, a bunch of boaters making noise off Harbor Point right there. And so the homeowners call the cops, can you guys do something about this? There's no Marine patrol at that time on a Sunday. And so the cops show up and they get the guy's attention from the shore. And from the boaters stay there, they keep blasting the music, and they just flip the guys off. And the police calls around to see if there's any Marine patrols, but there isn't. They call around to see if there's a helicopter, but there isn't. So there's nothing they can do, and they kind of just leave.
Dude, they're like, nee, boo, boo.
Basically.
It must be a real drag for the residents that live on that strip around Harbor Point and, along Nixon Beach, having to deal with the commotion every weekend.
Yeah, how they hate it.
Yeah.
And it's been going on for how many years now? 5 years? 6 years?
The real, I mean, really, when you think about it, most of the commotion happens pretty far away from even the closest house on Match the Point. Not to mention the prevailing winds usually coming from the east. So I'm sure there's a little bit, but somebody who lived in a house that was like ground zero for partying off of Nixon Beach for
Yeah.
a while.
You were there.
Yeah, I don't really get it.
You're not a
Yeah,
daddy
There
Yankee
was
fan yet?
people 20 feet off, and
you
sometimes
lived
it was
there.
like, man, this really sucks, but oh man, living on the water is just it's rough sometimes.
But at what time? What time was? Yeah, right. It's real rough.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to drive.
That's
at,
a good
is
one.
Also, those houses are barely ever occupied, so I'm not sure who's calling the police.
No, they all have. Most of them have soundproof windows, hurricane-proof windows.
Yeah.
They're inside the house. They're not hearing anything. It's when they're outside with the windows open
Yeah.
or hanging outside they hear the noise. But they have that problem over there in like North Bay Village area, and the guy, the owner of the house, finally got so fed up he called the cops all the time. He set up a super sound speaker system right at the wall, blasting like the most annoying sounds he could.
Like Tony
Blasting
Soprano did
Yeah,
that.
like, or whatever, you're just playing horrible stuff.
That's something that I've told the powers that be that want to get rid of this that they should do, but they haven't listened to me. What they keep thinking is that if they send enough Marine patrols, it's going to work out. But the Marine patrol doesn't want to interfere with the party.
No.
So
You know what the party goers got to do? Someone does that with the speakers, calling a noise complaint.
let's see. On Saturday, September 5th, at the Ocean Club Gym, a 23-year-old says his 17-year-old friend accused him of stealing his game controller.
At
So
the
he
gym?
Yeah, at the gym. So the 23-year-old calls the cops, and the 17-year-old says he'll kill him when he goes outside. The cops come, and the 17-year-old says that they always joke around like that.
Maybe he just thought they were in a Call of Duty game or something right there. He's
Possibly.
like, I'm gonna pop.
Possibly.
And so everything gets resolved, and it's fine.
So they were just working out their thumbs the whole time at the gym. Remote controls.
Well, nobody knows. Nobody knows where.
I'm gonna kill you like this. XXB, hey.
Nobody knows where. There was no closure on where the remote control went.
So what? He was just kidding, and everything was all right.
Yeah, I mean, I think they both got spooked when the cops came, and they were.
They
like,
go back to their
"It's-
Ocean Club.
It's all right.
Condo.
Exactly. On Tuesday, August 24th, two MacBooks worth $2,500 each, a iWatch band worth $50, some earrings worth $200, and a dress were stolen from a woman's car in the CVS parking lot.
A dress?
Wow.
Yeah, I think they just snatched it from a bag. That sounds like everything that was in the bag they took.
Was it CVS or was it the Crandon Beach?
No, it was CVS.
Yeah.
And
she
on
left the door
Tuesday-
unlocked.
It didn't say what time
What was
it was.
that?
She left the door unlocked, so.
Yeah.
She admitted that.
Yeah, and you have all that stuff in your car where somebody can see.
And they were
so.
brand new, weren't they? Still in the box?
Yeah.
Like she had just come from the store.
You know what I saw recently in the news was, I forget what town it was. I don't even think it was in Florida. The cops are going around like car to car to see if they're open. And then if they're open, they leave a little note like, hey, you left your car open, don't do it again, type of thing.
I stole your stuff, psych.
They have a lot of time on their hands.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure
That
the
works here, too.
officers, yeah, that's
Well, that's illegal. And that's the news story came out because people complained that it was illegal for the cops to open their cars like that. But yeah, that happens a lot on the Key. People leave their stuff in their car, valuable things, and then people,
Right in plain sight, though. That doesn't.
But you never expect it here. You never expect to have any repercussions for leaving your door open. You know, like if you live in a house and you leave your door open, I mean,
Nowadays,
man,
you
live in a
should.
house.
I would
Did you
always
ever
think
lock your door?
I never locked my door.
See, Rafa never locks his door. Did you
Yeah.
ever lock your door?
No, and I didn't lock my car either, and it got stolen one night.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah. They found it in the bay over on off of Watson Island.
No way.
Yeah. Honda Accord.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That was you.
It wasn't me. The worst part is they stole my softball bag, and it had my cleats in there with my orthotics. It's like $300.
$100, you lost the car.
No, I got the car back. I mean, with insurance to carry that.
Let's see. On Tuesday, September 1st, at 9 p.m., a woman was pulled over on suspicion of DUI, and it turns out she was DUI. She had half a bottle of vodka in the car, She started yelling at the cop. I got out of detox today. My dog died today. My husband is divorcing me after 34 years. And she was real combative, and she refused to breathalyzer, and I took her in. And then they had to deal with the passenger, who was 37 years old, and he was also drunk. And
So wait, how old was she? How old was she?
They didn't say how old she was. It
But
said
married
anything
for
about the dude.
Married for 34 years and rolling with a dude who's 37. I mean, sounds like she's,
Yeah, that's
A
something,
much
right?
older lady.
The cougar.
cougar pull.
Whatever.
So what
And-
happened?
So, but then this is where it gets interesting. Like 2 days later, she calls the cops, says that passenger is missing. Can't find this dude.
2 days later?
He's gone. Yeah, like we haven't seen him in a day or something.
So wait, did she got busted for the DUI?
It didn't even say that, but I think so. Yeah. And 2 days later, she calls about the passenger being missing, and where could he be? Where could he be? And they like put out a thing looking for him. And it turns out he checked himself into a detox, and he was in Fort Lauderdale in a detox.
A little more drama in your life, Just got to pull that drama.
Good lord.
It didn't say if she was from the Key or not. It said that he wasn't from the Key. But I don't
Hopefully
know.
they're all doing better.
On, let me see. Oh, no, that's it. Oh, no. This one applies to you, sort of. On Sunday, August 23rd, some juveniles at the Key Colony pool were getting loud. Real loud. So the guards asked them to leave. They tell the guards off. We're not going anywhere.
Rebels.
All right. Some 33-year-old woman from Massachusetts who's at the Key Colony asked them to leave. They berate her completely. Her husband comes. They berate him. Start getting threatening. It's about to get into a fight. Suddenly they call the cops. Before the cops come, kids disperse. Now, I'm wondering, you don't know anything about this. You don't know who the kids are.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, because you live in Key Colony.
Yeah, I
that's
do.
why.
And I have teenage kids, but no, it wasn't my kids, first of all, because they weren't with me this week. And I know my son was actually staying at his mom's house, and somebody told me today that they saw him jumping out of the second floor window into the pool. So that's not cool either. I'm watching you, buddy, so please stop that. Or somebody's watching you.
Big brother's watching.
But yeah, I mean, Key Colony, there's a lot of people there.
Yeah. What do you think about kids who mouth off to adults?
That is not right.
Not right.
Not right.
Respect your elders. Now, I say this.
You can't slap them.
That's the problem. You can't.
But sometimes-
Have I talked about this on the show? I probably have.
The adults are such freaking dingbats sometimes in their
Parents' fault,
stuff.
isn't it?
I know, but if you're being
So the
loud,
reason why the kids mouth off to older people and they have no respect, it's because they get it from somewhere, and they get it from home, at least, I think.
I
And I don't think
agree.
it's off rap videos or reality TV. It's parents.
yeah, or lack of parents. No, but sometimes they say, man, they mouth off to the parents too. They're like, I'm getting out of here.
We knew
Shut up, Mom, I'm out of here.
a young buck.
And Mom cries and kid runs away or whatever.
We knew a young buck when we were younger. Who was like, "Hey, F you, Mom, F you, F this, F all this, F all ya, F you, F you, F you." Remember that?
Yeah, from the Key.
Who's that?
Oh, we can't say.
Why not? No one's listening, man.
What was the end
He
result, by the way?
was out of
Where is he
control.
today?
One time we.
Oh, I know who you're talking
It's a
about.
long story. One time we mentioned he was on the radio, or his brother, and we.
Oh, you just gave it away. I was thinking exactly who it was, and then you mentioned with his brother.
Only to the long-time listeners. I know Pamela and Griff don't know who it is still. Anyway, I was kind of a little brat kid like that. I thought it was like, I thought the man was bringing me down, and I thought all adults were the man.
Sure, what am I doing wrong? I'm hanging out and swimming with my friends in the pool.
Yeah, no,
Don't-
these kids were being loud and drinking and stuff like that. So.
Where's the meatloaf,
But
Mom?
still, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, you shouldn't mouth off to older people.
I mean, yeah, not from where we're sitting now, you know that, but it's a different thing when you're 15 or 16.
Yeah.
You're coming from a different angle.
It's pretty dumb. I guess they were old enough to be drinking.
No, they
no,
weren't.
it said they were juveniles,
Yeah.
so I imagine they were under 18. I don't know.
So you're out there
They're
causing
calling-
ruckus. You shouldn't be causing ruckus.
Yeah,
Get the heck out.
yeah, exactly.
Then you're gonna be banned for life. The colony.
But the
surprised the guards-
security, they were very ineffective.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
surprised.
I mean,
They're
yeah.
doing
They
so
call
much
the
that they
cops
can
right
do,
away.
honestly. They can't restrain the kids.
Well,
They
they
don't
can call
have
the
handcuffs,
cops.
They don't have anything.
They can call the cops instantly. They should
all they
call
can
them right
do.
away.
That's it for the police blotter. I wish there was more, but there really isn't. Some bike thefts. They caught some bike thieves and things like that. That's kind of boring.
Anything else?
What about that ring of folks that sold like $4 million worth of stuff or something? Remember that?
The Venice.
Those guys that got caught.
Robbing.
I didn't want to tag a nationality on them.
No, they were flying to Venezuela and
back,
coming in.
Yeah.
And then flying back.
They had a thing with Ball Harbor. They were in Ball Harbor.
Sunny Isles.
Yeah. So there was a gang, I guess you could call it a gang, a group of people who were flying in from Venezuela to rob houses and then taking it all back. And they kept doing this. So what a convoluted plan. But
and they tallied up like a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah.
$4 million.
The hole in the wall gang over there in Las Vegas.
Yeah. And they finally were caught here on the Key. They had done it here at Bar Harbor. And
that's how they found out. They started tailing them or something. Ball Harbor cops had been following them for a while. They let the Key cops know. So they left the Key, and then City Miami cops pulled them over or something and busted them all. And there were still a lot of suspects at large or something they didn't get.
I think the Key cops do a pretty good job.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, for sure. They know what's going on. They don't recognize.
They know what's going on.
And all that. Yeah.
Keep community safe.
But I'll tell you a story. There was one time a story here on the. I remember I talked to Theo about it right away when it happened. So I was so surprised. So there was like some guy like hollered at some like little girl or something from a van on one day.
Is that called?
Or like from a car?
Catcalling?
Yeah, that was it was my son's friend.
Okay, so
at CVS.
Yeah, something like that. Like passed by and was like, "Hey, little girl, come here" or something. Straight out of like like one of those
scary.
videos
Come
they
get in
show
my
in
car.
School, don't talk to strangers type of thing. Yeah. So they do this, and they had ID'd the man as like a bald-headed guy in a dark blue car or something like that. Right. So the next day, I'm walking down the street, and right in front of the fire station on Crandon, they had pulled over a dark car, and they were grilling this guy like they were going to cut his head off. But then they were like, "Oh wait, that's not him."
But wait, Rafa, there was a with the kids that were there. There was all of a sudden a text string that went out, a Facebook post that went out that I saw a couple of times. I saw through different venues or different mediums. There was a lookout. Be on the lookout. That's just happened right now at CVS. So all of a sudden, all these parents on the Key were aware of what was going on. So
here's the thing: have you ever been the subject of the cop thinks you're the criminal, but you're not?
Yes.
Oh my God.
On the Key.
It is horrible.
You remember I was with you?
Yeah.
And
no.
Me and Rafa were at CVS, and we, I was on my mom's golf cart. The next thing we know,
how old were you? What was it?
This is like 22, 23. And we just went over there to buy, I don't know what, we were getting beers or something. And the next thing we know, Rafa gets a call from his mom, or I think it was like that.
Yeah, that's what it was, right? That they wanted us to come back because
the police had came to his house and saw. That's what it was. My golf cart was saw in front of Rafa's house, and we went to the CVS in Rafa's car. So we're over there, and I get a call, and she's like, tells Rafa like, "Hey, the cops are here at the house, and they want to talk to Bob," And we're like, "What the heck is going on?" So I come back. And, we go over there, and the cops are out there, and they're grilling the hell out of me. And they're like, "Oh, so where were you at this time?" I'm like, "Oh, we've been here, and we just went to CVS. We came back." And they're like, "All right, well, somebody attacked a maid on a golf cart, attacked them, pulled them, knocked them down the sidewalk, and took off. Like right, it was literally 6 or 7 houses down."
Is that Red Radio guy?
Yeah, so, they grilled me. So, all right, well, we're going to have the victim in a cop car, and they're going to drive by, and I'm, crapping my pants. I'm like, holy crap, imagine if they, ID me, it was probably at night, they probably didn't even, they're just going to say that it was me.
Yeah.
And I was literally crapping my pants, and I didn't do anything. We had been in CVS, and, I drove by, and thank God, they're like, okay, you're clear, you're good to go, it wasn't you.
Some key rat in a hoodie.
Yeah, but that's scary, man, because they treat you like a perp instantly.
Yeah,
and all they have to go on is, one little detail. It's like, oh, yeah, the guy was wearing a hat. Everybody with a hat in this radius is going to get berated right now,
Get to be a cop.
Yeah.
And I even told the cop, I was like, I was like, if you think that I actually would commit this crime and then park the golf cart 5 houses, 6 houses down, yeah, that shows a lot, huh? And then they're like, all right, well, we're still gonna have the victim drive by in the golf, in the cop car. I was literally shitting my pants, like, man, I might get arrested here just for not doing anything.
Yeah, exactly. So when I saw the other guy get pulled over on Crandon, I was like thinking the same thing. I was like, all the cops know is a dark car, really. That's really all they know.
And he's bald.
Yeah, I think that was the other description, And it was like, oh man, that could fit 100 people on the key, Bald guy in a dark car, it could fit so many people, and they're all could get berated tonight.
I'll be there in 5 years.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people in this room have been pulled over by the police just like in the after hours just because you're cruising around. It's happened to me at least 3 times because I drive a white pickup truck with a toolbox on it, which isn't really characteristic.
Big possibility, though.
You gotta put.
I got
number
You gotta put a sticker on your
I've been
car.
profiled.
You gotta put an island sticker on your car.
You're right. That is what I need to do because I look so generic.
Yeah.
And they pulled me over. I can't blame. I mean, riding around if you're there, 2 in the morning or something.
I've told this story on the radio before, and I think actually Mark, your dad, was the first person to tell this story on the radio, which is there was a guy who ran for council, a black guy from the Key who ran for council back in the day, right when the Key was incorporated.
Who's that?
93, 94. I don't remember his name. But
Should be a
he
question
only
for next
ran
show.
for council so that he could get in the paper and tell people, hey, I am black and I live on the Key, so please stop thinking that I'm some random criminal like walking through the suspicious guy because I keep getting like harassed by cops.
Dude, yesterday
So
I
he
was.
ran to like get his name out, make sure the community knows who he is.
That's so
Probably,
sad.
I 100% believe that.
It was probably the girl.
I
That's all
me
the time.
too.
It's probably the girl in our class's dad, man. Remember St. Agnes, Rochelle? Probably Rochelle's dad.
Actually, last night I was at 7-Eleven, and some guy, I drove by, and this guy's talking to some people, and I didn't recognize the guy. And that's fine, or whatever. He's talking to some people, and I go into 7-Eleven, and I come out, and he's standing by my golf cart, and he's getting close to Chico. Chico's like growling at him. He's like, does this dog bite? I go, yeah, he does. And I'm like, all dogs bite, right? And I was like, what's going on? He's like, well, I'm just, I'm looking for some help. I want to talk to somebody.
Oh.
And I was like, all right, what do you mean? He's like, well, I went to this church over here, and this is nighttime. And he's pointing to the 3 churches that you can see from 7-Eleven. He's like, I just want to talk to somebody. And this guy wasn't a Key Biscayne guy. He was just somebody who came in on the bus probably, or it's just, And luckily my phone rang at that moment. I was like, yeah, I got to go.
Oh, wow.
Was it a really short guy with a backpack?
No.
Okay. Some guy stopped me on the street yesterday, and he was like, hey, can I tell you something about smoking? And I was like, nope.
Wow.
I go, well, what am I going to hear about smoking that nobody's ever told me,
Yeah.
So I was like, no, sorry, I said it like laughingly. I don't want to be like, no, get out of here. But I was like, no. I'm not getting into that right now.
And just kept walking.
Yeah, I just kept by. He was like, oh, sorry. I was like, no, it's not a big deal, but I just don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, any other news? Because we're about that time.
No, pretty good. We're pretty good
You
here.
got something, Griff?
I got nothing.
Come on.
Nothing. Got nothing left.
No, I forgot to say that the show replays at 6 p.m. every day. No, not every day. On Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. It's on weekday mornings at 7:30 in the morning when the radio's on. And if you're catching this now, well, today is Wednesday, October 14th, and it is 7:40 p.m. right now. So if you're hearing a recording, that's just a recording. Don't call in. The trivia. How much is a TED special today?
Oh, I need to say something.
Yes.
One more thing. On Friday night, we're going to have a tailgate a golf cart tailgate at the Rat Trap. You know what the Rat Trap is?
Never heard
Friday
of
Night
it.
But
Football.
we have a thing. Damn it. What? Keep going.
The Rat Trap is what we call the Village Green when we play football games.
Oh,
Key Rat football.
Oh, okay.
So the team's coming in, Kendall Boys and Girls Club, and we're having a game on Friday night at 7:30. My son doesn't play, but whatever, all friends, community. So we're gonna bring the golf carts out there, do a big tailgate, do our margaritas on the cart. And,
Sounds like fun.
it's gonna be really nice.
that's
So
awesome.
come on out. We got music. Bring whatever or bring nothing. It's gonna be really nice. 7:30 Friday night at the Rat Trap.
We got a
We got a happy hour.
party, yeah,
We got a nice
happy
little party.
birthday party right off the
What's that?
Pat Kelly's,
Local
he
Q,
ran- yeah, he ran for council,
Yep.
but then he moved to Coral Gables.
Patrick Samuel Kelly. South Miami, actually.
All right.
Well, that's the show. Check out ratradio.net where you can hear a
And
replay of the
wait,
show.
you were going to
Follow
mention
us
the trivia. Also, thank you very much for Pam.
Oh,
being
no,
on the
thank
show.
you guys for
course.
having me. This was great. This was
Yeah.
a lot
Coming
of
out
fun.
again.
Come out
You
again.
already-
Sure,
next
I'd
week
love
didn't
to.
tell me, but
I'll have air
you're-
conditioning next time. Maybe.
No, this is great.
it'll cool.
It's hard in a
it'll cool
garage.
off.
We're not getting AC in a garage.
And what was your trivia thing, Rafa?
How much a Ted special is today?
$7.95.
It's whatever. It's whatever Lori wants it to be.
Whatever you can read off the paper.
I would say $7.95.
Yeah, I'm shooting for $7.95. I've analyzed those receipts a lot. 'Cause I have no trust anymore. But yeah, it is. I think it is $7.95, and how Manny said earlier, I think it's 2 eggs.
No, but they also have a
Yeah.
menu with prices now, so it's been pretty stable last year.
Go to the DG, have a good breakfast. LeBron was there not too long ago, actually. I saw
He
that
actually
picture.
went there?
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I saw a picture of him and Lori.
Oh, wow.
So that's the show. Thanks for tuning in. ratradio.net. Follow us on Facebook. You'll get the links to this show if you want to hear it on your own time. We'll be back next week at 6:30, Wednesdays, of course.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Very
Thank you.
much.
Good fight, good day.